I mean,
So there's 2 albums that I have been having on repeat. Well, there's a few, I guess, but like 2 that I keep going back to. I was in a very sad boy phase for a little while. Stuff happens in your life, and you just like music helps you cope through it. And I grew up. My parents are a lot older than me. Like, I mean, they had me when they were 40. So I grew up with this, just loving Motown and like 60s doo-wop and all that kind of stuff. So if I could find something that's current like that, and people are kind of making it a little more modern, I'm all in. There's a group called Darren Jones and the Indications. Yeah, and
I haven't heard them. I need to check those out.
You will love it. It's straight up like the Moments or like Isley Brothers or something. It's just you will set me free. Like that kind of like that harmonies, and then
that's fire.
The guy just ripping. Oh, no, love will work it out. Like just ooh, that soul, and the production's good. That album, it's called Private Space. It's like their new album. So good.
I gotta check that out.
You will love it. You will love it. And then the other one, which I'm super excited is to see them because they're coming soon. Shanon and the Clams.
I did hear that.
So I don't know what you think about it, but I love it because that voice is so unique.
Her voice is so unique.
Well, it's a dude and a guy. So like they keep going back and forth, and you can't tell who's who. And I love it. It's just
okay. So here's my thought about that record. I like the record in its entirety. It was on like 12 songs, right?
Yeah.
This is short. I like the record in its entirety. Conceptually, if it's like they're within of a certain frame, and they're like, that's good. I really like it because it reminds me of like Pioneer. It has like elements of like Americana, Pioneer, like Pioneer traveling out west.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you know what I mean?
Kind of
like
folky
this
almost,
kind of folky,
or
but it has little elements of like outlaw, like they belong in a Western movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
definitely.
This kind of like and like the fact as a filmmaker, I hear that and I'm like, ooh.
It paints a picture.
I had to listen to it twice. One, because as soon as I heard it, I'm hearing all these sounds. Immediately, I'm thinking about like, oh, like I can put this sound behind like a pan of like an old dusty town.
Sure.
And like or like somebody like traveling out west on a stagecoach and I really like that because it's such they're a new band. It's not like I had to go look for it in like spaghetti western or something like that. Yeah. And so I really enjoy that. But they have also elements of like, I think what's my favorite song on that? My favorite song on that is I Need You Bad.
I need you bad.
I need you bad.
And it's because
it has that 6/8 like dun, dun, dun,
yeah, I love it.
And that's my favorite groove of all time. It's my favorite when I'm like for blues solos. It's my favorite. It's just that like 6/8 shuffle kind of thing. Like that's probably not a shuffle, but it has that 6/8 feel. I fucked with it heavy.
It reminds me of so I was really into the Alabama Shakes. And
right, I was just about to bring them up. Yeah,
but same kind of vibe. Where it's like this is R&B, soul,
right,
rock.
Yes,
but it definitely has some production that makes it feel so old, but it has this new current vibe and like tones that like that's a new kind of fuzz or a new kind of grit, you know. And I love it. I
like the band Alabama Shakes' records more than the Britney solo.
Yeah, me too. She's great. She's super
fantastic.
Talented, but something about the band made it a little bit more like they had a niche that was great.
Yeah, and they probably hit at the perfect time also.
Yeah, and that last album, their last Sound
and Color.
That production, dude, I feel like every other song is a different drum sound and a different like room, and it's such a cool produced album. It's one of my favorite.
Yeah, I really like that album a lot.
Yeah,
this album, the Year of the Spider.
Yeah,
I really like it for those reasons. That kind of like cinematic feel. Yeah. Then I went back in, and the lyrics are great.
So
the lyrics are fantastic.
Another reason I'm really digging it is because my friends, they're in a band called Shame on Me, which is like a spooky doo-wop kind of group. They're really cool. They got me into them. And they told me, you got to check them out. And I got into them, the album before this one, new one that came out. And I was like, oh, they're great. There's so many catchy little numbers, kind of real 60s, like doo-wah-diddy kind of vibes.
Yeah.
But I dug into their catalog, and you hear them grow every album. And I love when you can hear that with the
so
band.
I got to do that.
So when they first started, it was like garage, like like that kind of like that old school.
Like ska almost?
Kind of ska, but more of like the 60s, like garagey rock surf kind of thing.
Oh, okay, got you.
With a really gritty vocal, that kind of thing.
Got it.
And I like that, but then you hear him get more into like, oh, let's try like a slower number. And let's try a more like Righteous Brother kind of song. It's like the first song on this new album, it reminds me of The Righteous Brother. It's just like the chords keep changing, and then it drops to somewhere you didn't think it was going to go, and it's real string oriented and stuff. You know, like that's been really exciting me, you know, like that kind of vibe.
On a production level, I always really, I'm always really impressed, and because you and I struggled with this when we were working on my stuff together, I'm really impressed whenever they can get string sections really,
and not just sound like you pasted on some strings,
or not just sounds like you just press the keys.
Or that, too.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like where'd that come from?
Yeah,
or
just
like,
this like
digital
subtlety of like where the strings and especially where they sit in the mix.
It's gotta feel like it's harder.
God, is that? And they did a great job. They did a great job. Who knows if it's an actual like if it's a keyboard or if it's a? Yeah, I'm not sure, but if you can make it sound like it.
Yeah,
it's the same reason that like, in the same way that whenever in that like that last Bruno Mars record, there's clearly some like synth bass. Like they're doing. It's not like he's on a jazz master the entire time.
But they blend them.
But they blend them so well, so it sounds so like 24 Karat Magic definitely has some synth bass in there.
Yes.
And oh crap.
That's all good.
But they do a good job of blending them together, and it sounds perfect.
And what's cool is like, so I play in a wedding band too, right? Which is, well, I say wedding, but it's more of like a party event band. Usually it's weddings or some kind of office party. So I had to learn a crap load of covers. And learning some of these songs that I always thought were just pop songs that I've heard a trillion times that like, you hear it so much that they almost become like, I don't want to hear that song again.
Right.
Like Uptown Funk. Like how many times have you heard Uptown Funk?
Yeah. But shout out to Mark Ronson.
Yeah, but sitting there and you learn it, everybody has to dissect the parts, and you're like, wow, there's a lot of layers of keys, and there's a lot of layers of this, and like the bass line does this cool ass line, and like all these like this vocal, you gotta do this part, you gotta do that part, you know what I mean? Like it gives you a new appreciation for it.
Right.
And I am really grateful that like the song reached a point where I don't want to hear it anymore. Then I had to learn it for this band. And then once I hear it and dissect it, I'm like, oh, I like the song again.
Yeah.
Like, it kind of happens with a lot of pop songs. Things I'll never get, like Doja Cat, we play Kiss Me More.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that song's great, man. It's such a cool, easy, like 4-chord kind of structure. But, man, where they chose to put things in and out and take away stuff, awesome.
I like her ode to house music.
Oh, yeah. She always got some kind of like...
She always has some, like, very, like... very, like, beach housey.
Always dance to it, yeah.
And I really appreciate that about her. But... I mean,
she's fine.
Going back to going back to Bruno for a second, in terms of and like tying it into that Chili Peppers conversation about like how one person can make a difference in terms of like shaping the sound. Like when Bruno got with Mark Ronson. Yep. It was like another.
Yep.
You always knew Bruno was capable of doing those things.
Yeah.
But just like having somebody that had already done a record that had those kind of like sensibilities, having somebody that had already worked with Amy Winehouse and made Valerie into that.
It's Gorillas with Danger Mouse too. To me, whenever that happened and that album came out, I was like, how many hits were on that Demon Days thing?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just like, oh, that's a match made in heaven.
It's like it's those kinds of things that are just so shout out to Mark Ronson, because I don't think we would have gotten 24 Karat or Silk Sonic had it not been for that kind of like direction of Mark Ronson shaping. And then to that point, like
a good producer, dude, can really just like bring the best out of an artist and like help them go that direction that they need to get into and take away all the extra stuff and be like, you're really good at this, man. Focus on that, and like everything else is gonna fall into place. You know?
Amy's Valerie was great on the album, but then all of a sudden that kind of like swing feel that they did
that gave some energy, gave some life.
God, it was so good. And then again the horn section after that, it was iconic. I don't know what. I could be wrong, but I think it was the horn section from somebody. Oh no, I'm sorry. They did that horn section from Amy went and worked with with Sturgill's band. No. Yeah.
I think he just did. They're like the horn section you call.
Yeah.
What are they called? The
I don't know what they are, but
they are like the. There's that documentary on them. What are they? God, I forgot the name. They would hire the band to always come in and do all the hits and like the.
Yeah. I know what band you're talking about. I mean, I know what documentary you're talking about.
It's gonna come to me. I can't believe I forgot them.
But it's that one person really made a difference in terms of like the direction of where they were going to. So it can be monumental how one person could just like shape everything.